this will fix all problems.
So
Well, we can't do that because we've got a motion to strike.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay. And if, don't let me get very far if this would not do what you're saying, but I move to amend this motion to strike by unstriking everything from an SREC member on. And the next one, an SREC member. Next one. And get there, right there. No, go up, go back up. Right. Yeah, right there, right there. And I need to get a capital A too.
where?
So we unstrike that and we would strike, still be striking everything before it. Does that work? And we'll still need to make a change to 42 also, but we'll start here.
I don't think you won't have to change 42 if you get that first sentence in mix.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Brett, you still have to deal with the fact that here it says they can hold dual positions, and in 42 it says they can't. So you still need to, I think, address 42.
We'll cross check.
Okay.
Thank you. Question for the movement. I think you're misinterpreting 42. And I think the part of 42, please correct me if you're wrong, that leads you to believe that a county party officer cannot also be an SREC, is that language that was just read that says no member of the SREC may hold elected federal, state, or county office. Is that your understanding? Is that the part that's making you think that an SREC couldn't also be a county chair? Because if that's the case, then it's just a matter of clarifying that a county chair is not holding county office.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
State your point.
I made a motion.
I'm taking that as a point of information. I'm giving everybody a lot of grace here, so try to work through this issue. This ambiguity is a huge problem. It just didn't get noticed. So if you guys do want to talk offline, so there is a motion to unstrike the old language. Is there a second? I'll recognize you to speak to it.
Yes, so the ambiguity is that it starts in rule number 42, where it says SRC committee and committee women or ex-officio members of their SC at the county's executive committees without the right to make motions or vote. So what that automatically does, without anyone having to do anything, is anyone who is an SREC is automatically an ex-officio. If your Senate district touches 10 counties, you are an ex-officio member of every single one of those 10 counties, if you're an SREC. And then it also says, without the right to make motions or vote. So now that rule is in there, it doesn't care whether you are a member of your county executive committee by virtue of being precinct chair. You no longer have voting privileges because that rule is taking them away. Nothing at the federal, state, or county office part doesn't play into this. It's only that part that is yanking away voting privileges from someone who had them, who should have them because they're a precinct chair. So we need to do this first, where it says that if you are, for those other, not like if you're a precinct chair in one county and you have 9 more counties in your SC, you do not have voting privileges in those other 9 counties. That's what this will do. Then, after we're done with this, we're going to need to go to rule number 42 and fix that sentence as well to restore voting rights to the county that a precinct chair is in, if they're also an SREC. So it's a 2-step process. This is step 1. Based on my reading of it, this will work, but I'm glad this was pointed out to us because we need to fix it. So let's vote for this, vote for the overall amendment, and then move on to rule number 42, which has not been closed yet.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
If the chair, county chair, does not not a county, he's elected in the county. If he's still not a county office, then he's correct. But the county chair is an elected official. I think that's the problem. We can clarify that, but they're not the same.
Okay.
What information?
State your point.
Is a county chair elected position holder of the county office, as understood under Rule 42?
My opinion, which is all I can offer you, is that is a elected party office, not a county office. It's not a government entity.
Thank you.
We're not debating this issue. I'm answering questions, unless you have a question for me. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Mark Russell, ST30. I want to announce my intention to make a motion if this language is adopted at the beginning of the last sentence in paragraph 42 to insert the words, except for party office, comma.
I appreciate that. That's not today. What you're going to do is not
Just announce it.
relative to the amendment.
Another
Yes.
point of information.
State your point.
Is it the chair's understanding that currently and for many years, we've had SRECs that are also county chairs?
Yes.
What information? Has that ever been an issue in the past?
No.
Has, another question, has Rule 42 ever been attempted to be used to oust an SREC member just because they were also a county chair?
No. If I may, the point of this is SREC members have been locked out of county being part of CEC meetings by them immediately going into executive session by saying we didn't adopt rules allowing you to. The SREC who requested this rule to paint wanted the adopt rules part out. So to actually fix this the way it was intended is to strike the county party may adopt rules and make the statement. An SREC member who is not within the same county is a non-voting ex-official member. And so it fixes the language without having to touch 42. If we just take out that requirement that the county party may adopt rules, and it just is without the county party being able to lock those members out. That was the intent. I don't think it conveyed it very well. That was the original intent.
Would I be allowed to invite you in mine?
Scott owns the floor right now, and he owns the amendment. What would you like to do, sir?
I would like to continue with this because if the original language persists, it will lock every single SREC out of their own county executive committee anyways. Because Rule 42 will be the only one operating, and that is what Rule 42 says.
What information?
State your point.
Has that motion been seconded?
That motion has been seconded, is on the floor, it is open for debate. Captain,
Can I speak in favor?
you can speak in favor.
As the original author of AP, I can tell you that the reason this was put in is because we had at least one SREC member who was going to counties that they did not live in, making motions, voting, being actively, getting involved in the party at a level that they should have never been involved in, writing rules, etc. So the whole reason I was asked to put B in there to begin with was to define what the CEC is. It's just the chair and the precinct chairs. And whatever slop I did, sorry about that, but I think this motion fixes it. So I'm speaking in favor.
Yes.
Just for, I know we are not interested in the Texas election code, but the law defines what a county office is. Texas Election Code Section 1005 3 defines county office means an office of a county government that is voted on county-wide. So it seems like there's a statutory definition of county.
Anyone else? Any further the question? I've got 1 and 1 open. 1 for and 1 against.
Mr. Chair, I support this, but I think it's incomplete. I think we'll have to unstrike up to the point where our chair has advised us. We can either vote this down and then a new motion to unstrike this and the rest of it, or support this and then later unstrike a little bit more to be more clear as to following the chair's advice. So for now, I'm gonna support this.
Are you against this, Mr. Vickery?
Yes, Virgil Vickery is D7. I'm against the change because I think what's needed is the part that says in 8 feet, the county party may adopt rules. That's the part that needs to go. Because what you're trying to deal with is SREC members in multi-county districts where there can be an ex officio member in every county that they're in, but a voting member of the CEC in the county where they live, should they be a county chair or a precinct chair. I think that fixes the multi-county issue in paragraph B. Then I think you have to come and make an adjustment on 42 that deletes the part where it says they cannot vote. And I think this is one of the problems you get into when you start deleting all the Texas election code. Sometimes they have definitions that you need, and that you may need to come back and add those, because the election code tells you that it's only a county position. Okay, that would affect the county chair, because that's a county-wide elected position. It may not affect precinct chair. That statutory definition might fix that, or the precinct chair for it, but I think it would still catch the county chair. So I think what he needs is deleting the part may adopt rules, and I think that fixes B. Then I think you have to put 42 and fix that, where if you're both a county chair, an SREC, and a precinct chair and an SREC, that you can vote, make motions in your own county.
Thank you, Mr. Vickery. We're ready for the debate. Are we ready for the vote? On the motion to unstrike the highlighted language, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. So that language is unstruck. Now, I'll recognize you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to make an amendment to the amendment. I think we're back at the just the stricken portion, correct? We can unstrike some more of the stricken, correct?
No, because you just voted to strike the rest. Now would be out of order to bring it back in.
Well, I wanted to do what you were inviting. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Did we actually vote on the strikeout, or did we only vote to unstrike?
Well, you are correct. The amendment's still there. So what you have to do is completely dispose of this, and then you can tackle it again. You have a question?
Well, can I make a motion to amend?
Right now, the original amendment was to strike language, and then the amendment to the amendment was to unstrike. So now we're back up just on the strike language.
So we can
What you could do is get greatly limited here. Right.
Mr. Chair, so then we're at the point where we can still continue to unstrike, is that right? As long as we don't touch the part that we already unstruck, we can continue to unstrike. Is that
It's a
right?
motion, an amendment to the amendment to unstrike more would be in order.
Perfect. Okay, that's.
I'm trying not to tell you what to do here. I want you to do it.
No,
Okay.
I'm leaning under here.
Yeah.
So you said that the proper, what will fix this is if we only left struck the county party may adopt rules allowing. I want to unstrike everything after the word allowing. Please. If we unstrike that and make all the grammatical issues, make the word "and" as the start of that sentence.
We can't touch that at the moment, but
Okay, yeah.
this is going to be small. All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, discussion. Yes.
I'm against.
You want to speak against? Okay. Right. Ray, you want to speak for this?
Okay, so this clarifies an issue. It clarifies the SREC is, number one, ex officio of every county that's in its SB, right? And then it goes on to say, to get the benefit, to define that person may not make motions or vote unless that person happens to also reside in that in that county. So I think we get the benefit of the first motion that we've already adopted. Plus, we're defining that SREC that doesn't live in the county is still an ex officio. I don't think this is a complete failure. They still have to go to 42, but I am accepting the chair's advice that this would help us along.
Point of order. Janice Holt.
State point.
And I'm not sure if the point of order is right. I have a question.
That's not a point of order.
Okay, so I said, so I should have a question.
Okay.
That's pertinent. We can only strike or unstrike. Can't change words. Is that correct?
So we dispose of this, that's right. Yes, it does not read right, it's grammatically incorrect. You gotta turn off that urgency for a second. Okay. Have you spoken yet?
All right, so this is a classic. Before we extended the concept, the pickle principle was that you don't want two different rules in different locations that are trying to do the same thing. Because if they do the same thing a little bit differently, or they draw on different authority, then they fight each other, and you have an ambiguous document. So right now, we have in Rule 8B, we have in Rule 42, two different clauses that in different ways are trying to give the ability to the SRECs to be on the ex officio members of their executive, of the executive committees of every county in their jurisdiction. So we need to get rid of one of them. So if it's the sense of this group that that provision should live in 8, which I actually like better than leaving it in 42, and what we need to do is we need to perfect the language in 8B and then completely eliminate this language in Rule 42. So the Rule 42 is, we're not Rule 44 yet, the Rule 42 is no longer speaking to this issue. So I think, would it be in order to keep workshopping this a little bit if it passes?
I will recognize you to correct ambiguity, continue to correct ambiguity in Rule 42 once this is disposed of.
Okay, well, I mean in 8B.
We have to fix the problem.
Okay.
So I'm with you to fix the problem.
All right, so I guess I'm no longer against 8B. If we go ahead and pass this, we just need to keep in mind that we need to eliminate it entirely from number 42, and there's a little bit we need to workshop here to make it operative as a sentence. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else want to speak for or against this? Okay. All in favor of unstriking the highlighted language, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. You started this. Did you vote against it?
I think we are corrected. We are getting out here corrected 42. But we have to start getting out here corrected.
It's maybe I'll explain to you why it's not, because Scott is up, well, I'll explain to you offline. Scott has already brought up a problem with dual office holders that this protects. Rule 42 does not protect the dual office holder. This is the right place to leave it. It's easier to clean up the ambiguity in 42. If we nuked it here and left 42 in it, Scott's already debated it is correct, then it could be interpreted that a precinct chair holding the dual office could be denied voting rights to the CEC. We don't want to open Pandora's box on that. So that language is stricken. We can't touch it anymore. The language that we have unstricken, I'll recognize somebody for an amendment to clean up the language there quickly.
Point of order.
State your point.
Did we take a vote on the final striking yet? I think this was another amendment too.
Yeah, I am out of order. Thank you very much. All in favor of adopting striking? Now we're back on just the stricken language. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay. Now the other sentence is in order for amendment. Perfect that for me.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, I would like to amend that sentence starting with an SREC member to read as follows. I'm doing this as we go, so bear with me. An SREC member shall be a non-voting ex officio member of every county executive committee in which their Senate districts is located. Yes. When we say within, I think we want to clarify on this. Yes. Every CEC which has territory within their senatorial district, because that captures Washington also. Yeah. Good.
Point of information.
I don't state your point.
So the goal here is to make them all access on all counties that they're in, but fix the fact that they could be a precinct chair in 42 and good.
Yes. So have that and then say accept, and then we get rid of the next line or so, and then pick up with an SREC member who's all nominating others.
Scott, the language was fine the way it was. If you just fix the way it reads, there was just one word you needed to change there, and it would have read just fine. The 42 language is duplicate, so if you just fix the way it was before you started, there was one word that could be changed. Let me help you. Can you go back to the way it was? Just back up. An SREC member who does not live in the same county is a non-voting ex-officio member and an SREC member who is not the county chairman or precinct chairman of the same county. All this is attempting to do is just make it so without the county party having to adopt rules to make it so. And if you then wanted to correct duplicate language, which is not necessarily ambiguous, but there's duplicate language stating an SREC member is an ex-officio member in 42, you could strike that so there's not two places to confuse someone, and that would be a good change. So would that be your motion? I was going to write the message for permanent with this guy. Okay. All right. Is there any discussion on this? All right. All in favor of adopt this language signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Are you a nay?
No, I thought we were done.
Okay. We're done with AP. Let's move before dinner. Let's move to 42 real quick. What do you want to do?
Mr. Chairman, I move that in rule number 42, we strike the sentence that reads SREC committee and committee women are ex officio members of their SC county's executive committees without the right to make motions or vote.
Okay. There's a motion to strike. Kathy, you and Hartburn had written this.
I think we're doing great.
Okay. I wanted your wisdom on this because you were involved in that. Okay. So we've got a motion and a second to strike that language. Is there any discussion on that? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The language is struck. Thank you, members, for correcting the ambiguity. Thank you, Megan, for bringing that up.
Mr. Chairman,
State your point.
with the strike that we just did, where in the rules, either 42 or 8P, does it say that a SREC is ex officio of all the counties in his SD?
Go back up to 18.
Please read it.
An SREC member who does not live in the same county is an ex officio member, and an SREC member who is not a county chair or precinct chair of the same county may not make motions or vote. So what this says is you're an ex officio member in every county you don't live in. And if you're not a precinct chair or county chair, you're an ex officio member in your home county as well. This allows dual members to continue to have the opportunity to vote in their county.
Ex officio of a county that you do not live in, right?
That's right.
That's not, but that's within your SD.
It doesn't say.
That part of this say within its SD, your SD. So Cameron County, SREC, I'm not an ex officio of El Paso County, right? So the county still has, it has to still be defined that the county that I'm an ex officio of is within my SD.
Yes, that's right.
We've never defined that before. Is that something you want to attempt to fix?
Yes, sure.
We're about to break for dinner, so.
Give me a second. Okay.
Yeah, and what,
There's enough point of information.
you nuked it at 42.
Yeah. So the other problem is that it also doesn't cover an SREC member in their home county who is not a precinct chair in that county. So it only says who does not live in the same county. Well, if you do live in that county, you're just not a CEC member by virtue of being a precinct chair or a county chair. So
I'm sorry, say that again.
So if someone is an SREC in Harris County, or in Senate District 7, they're an SREC they live in Harris County, you would want them to be an ex officio member of the Harris County Executive Committee, but if they live in Harris County, that rule doesn't loop them in. It only loops them in for the counties that they don't live in.
This refers to first, it prefaces it with the county executive committee, and then says same county. This is talking about a specific county.
But that clause isn't the clause that allows them to be ex officio members. So I've got an amendment that I will fix it.
Ray has asked for an amendment first.
Yeah.
Can we conference here for a second so we can just get this done?
We're dinner in 4 minutes, so let's go.
Committee of the whole for a second.
Tell you what, let's do this. You guys get together over dinner, and you get me some language that
Yes,
we
sir.
can work with here.
Yes, sir.
If not, then I would ask you, which you can do whatever you want, but I would ask you to draft something for the permanent committee and refer a good amendment to the permanent committee, and we'll kick it over to them. We're going to run the clock out on things that other members really need to get to, and I appreciate we're trying to correct this ambiguity, but we're going to spend way too much time debating this. Being close enough to dinner time, we'll stand in recess for dinner until, what do you think? You guys on?
We got to get back to work, y'all. Sorry, 6:45.
Let's give you 1 hour. We're in recess until 8 p.m.